In today's class, we'll see how we can use all the settings, all the things which we learned yesterday, and we'll implement and create something from that. Okay. Um, so this is the logo which I created just for this class. Um, can anyone let me know ki how you can create this logo? How you will cut this in a circle with pen tool? Okay. So let's say this is the part which I made na S. So next thing what we have to do is let's again to cut this part. So to cut this part we have to go to ellipse tool. Okay, and what by selecting this layer we have to draw mask. Okay, so in Photoshop how we are drawing mask? From the center we have to press option and shift है ना? And then it will move as in center. So now I'll go to layer and in the properties there is a mask. Okay, so this is saying add. So if I change it to subtract, that will get subtracted. Okay, or on add I can make it invert. Okay, both the things I can do. So now I will select a selection tool. I click on this mask and double click on this so that only the mask is selected, and I'll move this and make a size as per my requirement, and I press enter. So now you can see that shape is created. So this is how I created this shape. Okay, then this is X, and I placed X and rotate it a bit so that it look like this cross. Okay, so is it clear? So let's delete this one. Let's close this one right now. So now what we want to add an effect. We want to create an effect. Okay, I'll drag this video. I'll browse the video on this browser window, and here you can see on the top we can see the size of the video. Okay, so it's 1280 720, and if I want my comp on a same size, how I can do that? I have to select this and drag it on the new composition. Okay, so now that is dragged onto the timeline, and if I set the settings by going to composition, on the composition setting there is 1280 and 720. Okay, same as the clip. This is what we want, and the frame rate is also 23.978 because the shot is on this, and my editing timeline definitely if I created on this frame, so I want everything on the same frame rate. That is why I'm choosing the shot and making a composition as per my shot. Okay, so which is this shot? The shot which you added in your Final Cut Pro timeline. Okay, this is that shot. So I create, I'll put OK, and now if I play this one, let's put it to half quality. So it's not able to show. Okay, and you can see the camera is moving. Okay, so what I want to place the logo and also want to move the logo as per this camera movement so that it look like the logo is sticked on the ground. Okay, so what I have to do for that? First of all, let's trim the clip. Okay, let's trim from where it's starting. I'll play the shot again, and from here the shot is moving. Okay, so what you have to do to make in and out, if I double click this one, it will open another window. Okay, new layer window. So here is the in point. So what I'll do, I'll click in point, and automatically clip will shift to my starting of the workspace. Okay, now I play and see where is my out point. So let's done. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll select my comp, and by holding shift I place it here. So this is my work area now. So I'll right click and trim comp to work area, so that I don't want to work extra. So now my in point and out point is created, and now I will place my logo onto this clip. Okay, to place this logo, let's say PNG. I'll drag that PNG onto the layer. I'll click cross, I'll click cross. Let's drag, and it's too big. So what I can do, I can go to this small little button transform, and here I can scale it down. Okay, so now to scale it down, if I press S on my keyboard, the scale will come. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll make the scale down so that the logo will get visible. So this is looking too big, I'll make it smaller. Okay, so now logo is on the shot, but the shot is moving and logo is not moving. Okay, so what we can do, we can select our logo layer, and again I can go to transform, and on position I can move this one. Okay, but if at any time from scale I want to go to position, I will press P. So now that scale is changed to position now. Okay, so if I press S, we can go to scale. If I press P, we are going to position. Okay, so now what I can do, I can click, I place, I place the position on the first spot where I want this logo to be. I click on a keyframe, and I go to end, and I move this layer to right. Okay, this is how we do tracking. But this will not the right way to track the motion. So this is just moving on the surface. This is not fixed to the surface. Okay, so let's fix this to the surface. So what I have to do for that, first of all, I have to just off this one. I'll off the audio. I'll solve the camera for this shot. So how, what is solving the camera? Solving the camera is how camera is moving, and what is the three-dimensional area of that camera. That all comes to us. That all points will come to us. Okay. So if I right click, and here I can do track camera. Okay. If I click this track camera, it will automatically analyze the 3D camera tracker. So anytime we have to place our shot fix into any scene, we have to solve the camera first. Okay, so this will do all the steps. So total number of frames it's showing 374, and this much frames are done. Okay, so when 374 frames will done, it will solve the camera and show us the point, the three-dimensional point where we can place our logo. Okay, if we'll place our logo through that points, that will be remain in the three-dimensional and with the movement of camera. So we'll see how we can do that. So now you can see these all points are there. So if I move the cursor, you can see the points are permanently available here, and they are not moving here and there, it stick to the ground. Okay, and we also want to move our logo on the ground, so we have to pick these points. Okay, and place our logo at some of these points. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll find a place where this the circle will look flat. Okay, so if I place here, the circle is not flat, it's slanted. Okay, we'll find a better point where the circle will look flat. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll select and drag. So let's find, so this is looking good. Now what I'll do, I'll select few points and now this is looking flat to me. Okay, what I'll do now, I'll right click here and create null and camera. Okay, so what is null here? Null is the uh, adjustment layer which we can use to track any other object. We don't have to animate anything. We can parent this one with that null, and everything stick to this layer will get moved automatically. Okay, so we'll create null and camera and nothing is changed. And now I'll click, nothing is changed, but on the layer panel there is a track null, if we'll see this, and there is a camera is there. Okay, so if I click this, you can see there are all keyframes is happening in the transform, in position and orientation. So if at any point you want to see what is the keyframes used in this layer, you just have to select that layer and you have to press U. Okay, so how many keyframes and wherever the keyframes are, that will show automatically to you. Okay, in this only these keyframes are used. If the keyframes are used in mask, definitely that keyframe will also come. And if I move, you can see this one is stick to the position, that is not moving here and there. So now let's bring this sports layer and let's make this logo to 20. I'll press enter, and now what I have to do, I have to parent this to the tracker. This is what we learned yesterday. You know, I'll just parent this to null object. So now you can see it's parented with the second layer, that is track null 1. Now let's again play this one. Still this is not moving. Okay, that null is moving. Actually when we saw that null, that is moving correctly, but this is not moving. Why this is not moving? Because camera is 3D and our logo is on 2D. So we have to convert our logo to 3D also. So how we can convert to 3D? By this small little box we have to tick. Okay, and now you can see the logo is somewhere else. and if I move, you can see the logo is there and stick to that point. So that means the camera is working. Now what we have to do, we have to just solve the position and all. Okay, so first of all, let's make it to none. Let's, and now I'll go to position and put the position here, and then make this to 3D. I'm not parent first and then make it to 3D. I'll make 3D and then parent. Okay, so that my position will get fixed where I want this logo to be present on the first position. Now what I'll do, after making the position 3D, and then I will parent this to my null object. Okay, now let's play again. Now you can see automatically the text is moving as per our camera movement. Okay, if at this point I want this logo has to be here, if he jump, so now from a starting, let's play again. Okay, so exactly it's coming to that place. So this is how we can track any camera. We can track any shot, solve the camera and place our elements into this camera solve. Even what we can do, we can place our logo. I'll go to rotate, and on the x-axis I can rotate my logo. Move to go to selection tool, V is the key. To move to rotation tool, W is the key. Okay, so V and W is what we have to do. I'll make it down. I'll take it back. Okay, and now let's play again. Okay, we do some advanced things in the next classes. So how we can mix the things with using filters and all. But what I want to show you ki how you can use these all tools into your After Effects projects. Okay, so I'll make it undo. So now this is done. The next thing what we want to use is we want to add some transition. We want to add some transition effect into it. Okay, so to add transition, I cannot add transition. Means what I want to say is at this point, let's say this will get transition to another shot. Okay, so how we can transition that? These are all multiple tracks. So what we have to do, we have to make it pre-compositions to make these all layer as a one layer. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll select everything, I'll right click, and here is pre-comp. I'll click this pre-comp. Now what I want actually is convert these all layer to one layer, and inside that layer the all layer will present. That is making compound clip, है ना, same. So in that we are saying compound clip, and in After Effects we are saying pre-compose. And on the top leave all attribute and jump. If there is only one shot is selected, this will also highlight it, but these are multiple shots, so only move all attributes to the no composition is highlighted. Okay, adjust composition duration to the time span of the selection, yes, and open new composition. If you want, after clicking OK, the new composition will open. You have to tick this. If you want to stick here, you have to just press OK. So let's say logo track. Okay, in this, how I want to name this, because I track the logo, so that is why I'm giving the name logo track, and I press OK. So now that all things is converted to one particular. Okay, So now it's easy for us to move this to transition this to another. But one more thing, you can see I also want to ramp this one because this is moving very slow. Let's say I want to move fast, then he will jump in a slow and then will transition make it to another one. If we have to make speed ramping in this, we can still able to do in motion graphics also. How? I will select this layer now. I'll right click it. So everything here it is in the right click. Okay. And where I have to go? I have to go to time this time because speed ramping is connected with speed and speed is connected with time. So I have to go to time. And what I have to enable? Enable time remapping. There we are calling speed ramping. Here we call time remapping. And I click this. So now you can see automatically two keyframes are added from starting point and ending point. If I increase the speed, let's say I take the keyframe from last point to first point, now what will happen? Transition. Where we have to go? We have to go to transitions. And on the transitions, we have to select anyone. Let's say I'll select this one. So I can even drag this one on here. I can drag by selecting the layer here, or what I can do, I can double click this one. Okay. So as soon because the layer is not selected, so if I select this layer and double click, now the effect is on this layer. So this preset is made up with multiple filters. Okay. And why this is showing red? Because there is some expressions inside this. So how we can create expressions and all we'll see in the next classes. But this is all what they made. Okay. So you can see the effect is showing. So you can go apply some effects and check if you will hide this. At any time you want to hide any effect, you have to hide this effects. If all the effects are selected, you will hide this effects, everything is hide. Okay. If you want to hide any particular effect, you just select that and hide it, or you don't have to select even that one, straight away you can hide that. Okay. Try to see how this all is done. I'll just make this one. So you can see now on the layer panel there are some dots here, but these are not keyframe. Actually I cannot change or move these keyframes. I can move, but I cannot move this one. Why? Because we are not in a right form right now. If I click this effect and if I go to noise or dissolve, now you can see there are keyframes here. Or what I can do, as I told, okay, if I select the layer and press U, how many keyframes which are used in this layer will come up automatically wherever it was, wherever it is. Okay, so now I can even change because this is going, this is opening, fading in. So what I want fade out. So I have to reverse this keyframe. So I just changed change these keyframes. So now from starting it's going to ending. Okay. So I can even change the order of the keyframes also. I don't have to do regain that order. So this is what FCP can do. So let's delete this one. I don't want to use this transition. Another way of using transitions is try to try to check all these presets and animations. This is very important at this stage. Okay, I'll select this one, or what I can do, I can go to effect and I can use these effects to use as a presets. So let's say in simulation I go to shatter. So what is shattering? Shattering is breaking it to some pieces. So if I uh, just change my mouse, you can see that is blast kind of effect, but it's not showing how this is looking. So to change any effect, where we have to go? We have to go to effect control. Okay. By selecting that layer, we are in the effect control and that effect is showing in that effect control. Okay. So if I want to off this effect, I'll put effects off. Okay. If I want to on that effect, I'll put on that effect. I don't want this in the starting. So this is all you have to learn by experimenting the things. Maybe there are tons of settings you cannot means remember these all things. So by applying or by learning these or making your personal preferences of any effect, you can know ki how these all settings are. Okay. So even I don't know many of them, but let's say these are looking as a bricks. Okay. And here it's showing the pattern on the bricks. If I'll change it to glass, now it's looking like a glass. If I move, so the glass is changing. But this is still we don't want. We want this effect on the shot. Okay. So on the render and view, it's written wireframe and force. So what I'll do, I'll put it on render. So now you can see it's showing on the layer. But still one more thing which I don't want, that is not from the starting, at the point of ending the jump. So how I can control this one? This also has to see. So this is the force. Okay, this is the force strength. If I'll make the strength 0, now no. Um, let's say it's is it radius. If I'll put radius 0, now it is not moving. It's not the strength is the power of that effect. Okay. And the radius is, let's move again to the wireframe. That is where the wireframe is good. If I put the radius, now you can see it's shattering. But if I put down the radius, nothing is shattering. So if I put the radius up and make the strength bigger, now you can see the more power it's using. Just strength is how far that will go. Okay. This is all physics and maybe you have to learn now. So I want from here to start this one. So let's click on the stopwatch, radius at 0, and from here I will build this effect and make the radius bigger. Okay. So now I'll change this to render. Let's see what happened. To make the preview faster, I'll make the render from here till here. I'll just move from this effect. So I'll make it render. Okay. So from where I want, from here I want the effect. It's not showing. I'll press U and U again. Now I can even move and everything is looking good. But what I extra want is the gravity down. So that is in physics, velocity, mass, rotation, gravity, everything is there. I'll just put gravity towards down. So this is all, you don't have to learn. Okay, just try and experiment. Maybe you have to work on this, maybe you don't have to work on this, maybe this animation preset will work. But why I am showing these all things, so that you know where you have to go to change the settings in the filters. If you downloaded some template and the things are going, where you have to go to change them, that is what I am guiding you. Okay, this is not you have to learn k is it going to gravity, and but the graphic designer has to learn these all things. That is why I told ki learning After Effects is a long term course. Okay, because this is VFX and you have to control each and every motion. Okay, now we'll replicate more the more patterns I want to show. Direction, let's you need any direction. Extrusion path. Okay, and let's say what more we can do. Rotation speed, yes, and let's see what is happening. And it's gone. Let's slow this down a bit. Just it down. Okay, now what I want behind this logo to come. Okay, so let's place this logo again. Which logo? The same logo. Scale it down. Because if something is going out, definitely the background will see. Now if I play, the logo is coming. But let's take this to another step. I want another background behind this logo. So what I can do, I place a solid layer. Okay, layer, new. To make any solid layer or a background, I have to go to layer, new, and solid layer. Okay, I using each and every part in this so that you will learn which part you have to take from where. That is why I chosen this whole thing. Let's say I want to use red color. It's looking good to me. And I'll write red BG. Okay. And it's not showing the logo on it. So why? Because the red BG is upside the logo. I'll just take it to back. Now this is showing. Okay, now let's move this to another step. What I want at the time of this movement shattering, I want this logo to come as a scaling up. Okay, so how I can do, I'll go to the first point where this shattering is starting. I have to select my logo and click on the scale time. Okay, keyframe, and then I'll bring it and make the scale bigger. Let's say this. Okay, I'll again play. So it is coming in. Okay, but what I realized is it's suddenly increasing and suddenly stopping. It's not gradually coming. Okay, that is where the ease in of the keyframe will work. Okay, so how you can ease in, starting with a very slow and then making it and then slowing it down to stop. That is called easing in and easing out. So if I select these keyframes, I right click it and keyframe assistance, I'll go to easy ease. Okay. So now this is converted to the small little buttons. So let's say, so now you can see it's stopping gradually. It's not stopping suddenly. Or let's say I just want to stop as ease out. So ease out means coming and stopping it slowly, coming fast and stopping it slowly. Okay, or you can go to ease in. Okay, so this is looking much better. So I'll go with this. And let's say I want to go ease out, means slowly I'm going out and then stopping here. So let's move on one more step further, and I just typed this taglines. Rebuild and nourish. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go to again type layer. I press and paste this layer, and this is too much big. I go to characters and I'll make 200 pixels first. I'll make 50 pixels. Press V for selection tool, and by selecting this I'll put this one up. Okay, so this is looking good. If go to position, there is no position keyframing है ना, so I can even move this to left also, and that will not affect the effect because only the scaling having the keyframe, not the position. Okay, so now we'll fix this text also here. I'll make this one white. So I need, this is behind that effect, so I'll take this one behind the top layer. So now this is building, the S is coming zoom, but this is not coming. So how we can do that? Do I have to click keyframes? No. So we'll parent it. Okay. We'll take the final position of this. Let's say I'll go to this layer, rebuild and nourish. I'll scale it up to my final position, and then I will parent this layer with sport layer. And now if it's coming up, both the layers are coming up. Okay, so but still this is not looking so good. Let's do something with background. So what we can do, we can place light. Okay, so how we can place light? We have to go to layer, new, and let's take a light here. Okay, so let's call this BG or light. So this is ambient light. You know, ambient is the universal light, okay, which is there in Photoshop also. Another is point light, which we are using to give a direction of any light. Spotlight, spot, you know, and a parallel light. Parallel light is a flat light. Wherever you place, it will fill whole side of that parallel. It will go parallel to one direction. Okay, it will not go fall off. It will parallel to one direction. Okay, so generally what we use is point lights. Okay, so wherever it presents, it's light the environment. And I'll choose point light, and let's increase the light at 120, maybe 100. Cast shadow, if you want to cast this light shadow on another object, you can place this, but right now we are just using a simple light, and I press OK. Nothing is changed. So why? Because the layers are not in 3D. Light always work on 3D. So what we have to do, we have to change this to 3D. And as soon as I click to 3D, now you can see the light is giving dimension to the background. So now this is looking more realistic. So light always give dimensions. So whenever you have to give some dimension to your animation, so which part you have to use? Lighting part you have to use. Okay, if I'll put this both layer also three-dimensional. Okay, because I want light to light these things also. So if I'll go back, so now you can see light is far from these subjects. So let's see with a custom view. So here you can see light is far from these subjects. If I go closer, now it is lighting and it's gone back of that subject. Okay, so this is what we are moving the light in z-axis, and we can moving the light in. So when sometime we have to come to custom view to see the how effect is going on, and then we again have to come to active camera, the camera which we are watching. Okay, so now let's play again. Let's move it to half. Okay, so we'll do one more thing. We'll move or keyframe the light also this time. Okay, so let's take the light on a right side. Let's say I want this to be present, and then light will move to this S. So how we can do? I'll just press P for position, and I'll click the keyframe, and I'll go back and I move this keyframe here. Okay, then I'll move further, and on the last point where I want my light, I want my light at the S point. Okay, so now let's see. So light is moving. Let's move slowly. So you can see, let's say I'll start from here. So let's increase the light intensity. How you can increase the light intensity? Selecting the light, going to layer and light setting. Okay, if you have to change the BG settings, you have to select the BG layer, go to the layer and go to solid settings. Okay, but this time what we want to change is light settings. So I'll select the light, go to light layer and click on light settings. So let's increase the light more. Okay, and fall off, let's say smooth fall off. नहीं लेयर पे आपको बीजी सिलेक्शन होगा तो यहाँ बीजी सेटिंग आएगा, मींस सॉलिड सेटिंग्स होता है, और लाइट सेटिंग्स करना है तो लेयर पे नीचे लाइट, selecting the layer in the layer panel will change that. So now you can see we are on a fall off. I want to say this is smooth. I can increase the radius. I can change the fall off distance. So more it's creating more dimensions, it's giving more light here and then falling off to the place. हाँ जी, हाँ, अगर टेक्स्ट पे नहीं चाहिए यू जस्ट क्लिक ऑफ द 3D ऑफ टेक्स्ट, और या फिर you have to bring the text layer far from the background and put the light behind the text. Let's say, but this is what I actually want. मान लीजिए आपको ये नहीं चाहिए, so what you will do, you will go to custom view. Okay, you will select this text layer and you will take it in a outside of light, and then we'll go to, so now the light is behind. Okay, and for this I'll place another light to make it white or something. Let's say I'll click on new light, I'll make the intensity down, and let's call this light as logo light. So naming the light is a better option, because now you can see we can even creating the light. and let's move this light here. Let's go closer or back. And now two lights are there, so background is get changed. So what I don't want this light to interact with background, है ना? So that is another step. We'll go inside this, we'll minus the background from that, or what we can do, I'll just come to the setting. First of all, the second light which we placed, logo light, will go to light setting, and we'll increase this one. Say cast shadow. No, I don't. I'll make the intensity 100, and on the top light I'll also change the set intensity down. So this is how we can do multiple lightings. Okay, so let's delete this one. I don't want light. What I want this gradient effect in the title. But now again, let's move on to another point. I want the movement in rebuild also. Okay, so what kind of movement I want? Let's say I want this one to build. Okay, let's move something. So I always using animation presets to moving anything. Okay, so in the text I will go and find some animation for it. Let's say 3D text. Okay, I want this one to move in 3D. I'll select this layer and I double click on any one of this, and let's see what it's, and you can see the effect is coming. Okay, so from where the effect is starting, if I press U, so you can see it's from here, but from where we want from here. So I will select these keyframes and move it to here. So now the effect is coming from this side. Hmm? What happened? Okay, so now this is the effect. Let's delete this one. So at any time you want to delete, you have to go to text animation. So these are the animations which we are using, and now we are just deleting this. Let's select U, select and delete. Okay, so I'll offset it to 0. Okay, I'll select this one here. So let's try one more thing. Fly down with a random. I don't want from here. Let's press U. Speed, I want this. So now this is building as an 3D movement. So let's do one render preview. So the speed is too much. Let's make this one slow. And now let's see. Okay. So this is how it made. But one more thing I want to add, that is I want 3D. This text to become in 3D. Okay. So why I am doing all these things? Just to make you learn ki what all things we can do in this. Okay. So I'll select this layer, and to make this text in 3D, just one setting I have to change, that is going to composition and composition settings, and on 3D render I'll click right now. So render is classic 3D. I'll change this to Cinema 4D render and I press OK. I'll show you. So now nothing is changed. Nothing is changed. But you can see the system is more. What change it will bring is now you will see. Now this whole text will convert to 3D. The depth extrusion will come and you can control that extrusion. You do not need to go to Photoshop and all to make 3D. Hmm? Babbling and all is there. Hmm. हाँ हाँ तो तब लर्न नहीं किया था ना. हाँ वो क्या है we have. So this is why After Effects is good enough na. It's so easy to. So now you know how you can do multiple things, how you can pre-compose, how you can use light, how you can use uh, transitions, title effects, 3D title movements, or motion tracking and all. This will learn more on this in the next classes. Okay, tomorrow I'll show you how you can place text into the video with a correct formation. Like if you are placing a text on a water, how you can float that text with that water with the displacement maps. That is called mapping. So this is it for today's class.